what are the auxiliary computer skills that you need in chemistry? Of course, use of computers in chemistry is not just in chemistry, in any sciences, especially today. It is something which is part of us already, but there are a lot of other things. That's why I call it auxiliary, because there are things which are not needed as a chemist. You don't have to be good in computers or know much about computers to be a very good chemist. Yeah, but these auxiliary skills, these extra skills, will help you not just to be a better chemist, but also to be a more proficient, I suppose, effective, efficient chemist, in your work. Okay, so this is the thing that we're going to focus on. That the fact that the chemist must know computers and be adept with a core set of computer skills. In fact, there was a meeting in 1993 by American Chemical Society when they were talking about what are the most important skills that chemists should know. These are the skills that are required, what a chemist should be able to do in today's world. Now, I've changed a bit because a long time has passed since 1993. And some of the skills it's still relevant, but there are also new things that we have to understand and we have to learn. Right. Amongst the skills that we need to have is, number one, to use web-based chemistry tools. Now, web-based chemistry tools, usually databases, PubChem, SciFinder, ChemSpider, and stuff like that. Those kind of websites where you have databases of chemicals. And also websites that are useful, that give you services. I don't know about other fields of chemistry, but for example, in computational chemistry, you can actually do some calculations. Certain websites actually serve us. These are the services that they can render to us. For example, if you want to do docking, there are already websites that allows you to use their tools to do various computational chemistry jobs. Okay, so there are a lot of web-based chemistry tools. This skill is not in the 1993 resolution of what chemists should know about computers, because at that time websites are not, they still don't exist that much. Secondly, the use of spreadsheets and associated tools. Of course, Excel. If you're using Linux, then you should at least be able to use LibreOffice. And you can do a lot of things with Excel. I will show you some things later on. Statistical packages. This is also beginning to be very important, especially nowadays in the times where words like big data, machine learning, these are words that you hear every single day. In fact, more and more, you're hearing about data from chemistry being used to do analysis. So you can hear nowadays about big data in chemistry. Because if you think about it, we have labs nowadays that are automated labs that generates data in huge amounts. So you need to be able to store the data and to analyze the data. So statistical packages, knowledge about statistical packages and the methodologies used in the package, which is relevant to chemistry, it is something that you should learn. Use chemical structure drawing software and molecular modeling software. I'm not going to talk about molecular modeling. If I talk about molecular modeling, then it's another course, not even a talk, it's a course. So we're not going to talk too much about molecular modeling. We're just going to talk about the chemical structure drawing packages that I think chemists should know. We have an expensive package like ChemDraw. Not many people can afford that. But you also have alternatives nowadays. Some chemists will say to me, no, we have to use ChemDraw because that's the best one. I say, yeah, of course it is the best one, or it is something that a lot of people would consider as a standard for chemical drawing. But we don't have the money to do that, so we can offer alternatives. And there are a lot of other alternatives, which I will try to show later on. Chemists should also be able to write computer programs. Now, even though I'm working on computers and using computers to solve chemical problems, there are a lot of computational chemists who don't know how to do programming. Yeah? I remember when I was in the university, undergraduate, we actually have to learn programming. So computer programming is part of the curriculum. We are trying to put in the curriculum later on in, I think, next semester, next section. We're going to start to teach computer programming to chemists, because it is very important. Not so much about writing programs, but being able to think computationally and being able to solve chemical problems. That means you have the ability, the aptitude to think about chemical problems in terms of computational, thinking. So you can solve those problems computationally. So being able to write programs will allow you to develop this kind of skills. Yeah. And understand and use instrument interfacing in experiments, yeah? Microcontrollers for chemical experiments, which is nowadays also becoming a trend. You have maybe you've heard of Internet of Things, right? So chemists, we also have something called Internet of Chemical Things. So we look at that just a little bit, to have some skills in that will be very useful. And I think in today's environment, it is very important as chemists to develop maker mentality. Someone who is apt with technology in solving chemical problems. Yeah. So I'm going to show you a bit of a video. I'm not sure whether this video is going to be able to, you can see it. Hold on, let me reshare screen. Hold on. Start this first. We share. Right. Screen. Hold on. Okay. Right. Can you see now? So this is a video of a student, a final year student, doing her final year project, which is the low cost auto titrator. So she built the auto titrator using Arduino, and actually managed to do auto titration. Yes. So that's the Arduino. Yeah. And this is the auto titrator. So there's a magnet there at the fan to emulate or to simulate, sorry, you have to kacau the solution. Okay. So I'm showing you this video, and it takes a bit more time because I'm saying that in the department we already have a center, yeah, chemistry innovation space for students to actually learn about microcontrollers and 3D printing and how it can help in your experiments. Yeah? Okay. So those are amongst the skill that students or a chemist should have, or at least a student of chemistry should you know hope to develop. Yeah? So in this 4-hour lecture, so there are 2 parts. This first part is what we're going to do today, and then we have the second part, which is on Thursday. Yeah. So for today, we're going to look at a few things on productivity using Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 to enhance your own productivity. It has nothing to do about chemistry. It's just to help us do a better job. I mean, to use the computers better, to organize our life, to organize your schedules of doing experiments, being a chemist and stuff like that. Yeah? So the first part, the overview, is just I'm just going to show you how you can actually use Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. For those who are leaving the university, you can still have access to Google Workspace and Microsoft 365, but it's not going to be as good as when were you in the university. Limited space and everything, you know, but it is still usable. You can still use it to enhance your productivity, especially when you start to work. Right? We're going to look at some tools associated with Excel. We're not going to show you how Excel works. Everybody uses Excel, you know. Just some of the things that I think will be fun to look at, and basically tell you that, you know, if you can learn more about Excel, you can actually do, you know, a better job in organizing your work, solving chemical problems. Yeah? We're going to look at how to make Excel and Microsoft Office chemically intelligent. Yeah? And we're going to look at some chemistry tools that can be integrated with Excel to carry out simple and sophisticated chemistry, which is related to the first one. And we're going to look at some simple programming with Excel. The reason I just added this yesterday because I was thinking of an experience that I had with one of my students in the early 2000s when we were faced with a problem, but we were very thankful that we had some skills in programming, which I will show you later on. Yeah. In part 2, the title that you see in the poster is very general. These are the details of it. In part 2, we're going to look at the idea of a smart laboratory. This is important because when you go out, you know, when you graduate, you'll be working in different sectors, you know, and you'll probably be working in a big lab, you know, an analytical lab. So the idea of a smart laboratory is very important in order for you to develop this ability to work intelligently. Yeah? One of the integral part, one of the things that makes a lab smart is the use of electronic lab notebook. Yeah, this one, I mean, for 3 or 4 years that you studied in the chemistry department, we have not really looked into the electronic lab notebook. Something that even lecturers should start to think about, because you know, with an electronic lab notebook, ELN, we'll be able to do our research, you know, more organize the work better compared to using, you know, paper-based lab notebook. So we're going to look at how Microsoft OneNote can be used to implement ELN. And then maybe I thought, well, there are a lot of things that there are a lot of developments nowadays with your handphones, you know. So maybe we can look at how smartphones or handphones can be used to do chemistry, so that you can actually still be in touch with chemistry even though you're not in front of a computer or in the lab. We're going to have some insights into Internet of Chemical Things, IO Chemical T. Yeah? And we're going to look at importance of computer programming in chemistry. Yeah, so I added this because in order to make your handphones really chemistry intelligent, we need to do a bit of programming. Something that you can learn later on as you go along with life, you know, after graduation, you will find that learning, to program is a skill worth having, especially in COVID times. So staying at home, so you might as well learn something. So I will show you how programming can be used to do chemistry. You don't have to be excellent in programming. I'm not a good programmer. I know how to program. What I do is when I want to solve chemical problems, I will use other people's code, edit it, and solve my problems. I don't have to start, from scratch to do programming. As long as you know how to do it, how you have the basic knowledge of programming, then you can actually use other people's work to help you solve your problems. Well, you might want to get into machine learning in chemistry. It's a growing subject. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to start straight away with Google and Microsoft. Okay. Let me share a different slide. Okay, you can see how to increase your productivity. Boleh nampak?
Boleh nampak, boleh nampak.
Boleh nampak? Okay. Hold on. Let me. This is not good. Let me do something to this. Sorry, yeah. Right. Let me share. Okay. So this part is not, has nothing much to do with chemistry. But I'm quite surprised when I ask students, how much have you actually used Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 while you are in the university? And surprisingly, there are a few who say that, well, I don't use that much. I probably have emails, but not, more than that. So I think it is very important for us to have a good knowledge of Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, because these tools can help you to be more productive. In fact, very, very productive. You can do things easily, seamlessly, when people will want to do it manually, for example, and takes hours and hours. One of the things about computing is that you can solve problems in minutes. When people who don't know how to use computers will have to solve the problem in hours. So that's already a big advantage that you have over people. And definitely, if I want to take you or employ you as my employee, then I would look for computing skills. Even simple computing skills like how to ensure that you are productive in doing your work. Okay. So what is Google Workspace? Google Workspace is basically all these things that you have seen in the in Chrome. You can actually, whenever you go and log into your email through the web, then you will have access to all this software: your mail, your calendar, Google Drive, Google Meet, and all sorts of things. So a more complete illustration is here. So when we talk about collaboration, so one of the things that people are looking into is the ability to collaborate, especially during times like this when you have to stay at home. So how can you still collaborate when you are at home? So these are the tools created by Google. You can use them: Docs, Slides, Sheets, Sites, Drive, and Jamboard. These are collaborative tools. Okay, and you also have communication tools like Meet, Gmail, Chat, Groups. We have management tools like Classroom, Forms, organizational tools like Keep, Calendar, and Administration. these are the things that Google supply.
Ya, dah, sabar dah. Kita kod betul lah tu.
Siapa baru? Google, every time you open up an account, Google will give you access to many of this. But in because we subscribe to Google Workspace for education, we have access to all these apps for free, and the storage is limitless. Microsoft 365, also subscribes to Microsoft 365. Okay, and amongst the tools, this is also something that we are used to. The difference between Google and Microsoft is that Microsoft has been around for quite a while, especially when we talk about Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Word, Excel. But when Microsoft came up with 365, they bundled it together. You can still use these different packages like Microsoft Office separate. You use it on your desktop, but you can also use the same applications on the web, for example. So what Microsoft did was they bundled everything and they make it accessible online. And if you're already having your apps on the laptop, on the PC, a desktop package, you can still synchronize between the desktop and an online storage. So you can still use, for example, Word, but your Word file will be saved to a OneDrive storage. So they basically offer the same tools, which has to do with communication, collaboration, and stuff. So the ones at the top are quite familiar. You have N, which is OneNote. This is SharePoint, I think. And a few other things. We are probably used to Skype, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive. This is SharePoint. So there are tools or applications that we are used to, and there are tools which are quite new. So we're going to look at Google and Microsoft, and we're not going to compare them, but we're going to look at some of the tools and how these tools can help you to enhance your productivity. Now, choosing which tool, because for example, which one do I use? Do I use Google Docs or Word? Do I use Excel or Google Sheets? Personally, I use both, depending on what is available and the kind of functionalities that these applications offer. For example, if I want to create a mail merge, I want to send emails to hundreds or thousands of people, I would rather use Google Sheets because it's much easier, and Google Sheet is actually a cloud service. It's highly integrated with the email in for example, and they have add-ons which makes things much easier for me. So I would use Google Sheets for things like that. But if I want to say do complex calculations, or do data analysis, then I would go for Excel, because there are a lot more data analytical tools available to be used with Excel rather than Google Sheets. So it's really up to you. The choice is yours. Most important thing is using these tools, you can enhance increase your productivity. Okay. So I have this link. Hold on, let me stop this first. Wait, and show. This is really bad. I could have used another tool to interact with you guys, but anyhow, I will just put this into the chat. Okay, so can everyone just go to the link and answer some of the questions? Okay, this is basically about how much you know about Microsoft and Google. I just want to have an idea of the audience. How much do you know about Google and Microsoft services. Okay, so while you're doing that, where do we start? So how do we actually start Google and Microsoft services? Most of us will start to use these services through two things, either we go to the Google search portal, or we go to the Gmail. Yes. So most of you would say that you are quite okay with Google and Microsoft, right? So in terms of, let me show you the results. Okay. Just to share you the results. Right. So how would you rate yourself as a user of Google Workspace? So 3 is so-so lah. So-so. Would you rate yourself a user of Microsoft 365? So you use more of Microsoft 365 compared to Google Workspace. Yeah? How do you rate yourself in terms of knowledge and proficiency as a user of Google Workspace? So. And Microsoft also so-so. So I would say that most of you are so-so lah in your usage of Google and Microsoft, which is okay. I think many people are still so-so as well, because we want to use things that we already know, not things that we don't know. So we'll probably be using Gmail, Google, some of you, because your lecturers use Google Classroom, for example, and for collaboration, maybe they will share files in Google. So you have the tendency to use Google. Yeah? And for those lecturers who don't use this, they use probably a lot of Microsoft Teams. You will probably be inclined to use apps which are Microsoft based. It's okay. We'll just have a look at all of them and see how these tools can actually help you enhance your productivity. And of course, these things are, I'll be talking about my experience. I'm not sure about others. I'm sure others are using it much better than I do. But just to give you some, opening some doors so that you can actually learn more about the things or the tools that are available and use these tools more effectively, to increase your productivity. Okay, let's have a look at the emails first. Let me share you an email screen. I'll tell you what, I'll just share the whole screen. It's easier. Share the whole screen. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Prof.
Yes.
Okay, right. So let's open up an email. Okay, let's use of LMS for Microsoft. This is what? This is YouTube. Let's forget about YouTube for a while. Okay, so this is email. Yeah. If you have been using Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel for a long time, you know for sure that what you're using is not 100% what Microsoft Excel or Word can offer. Same thing with Google Mail. Google Mail offers much more than what you see in front of you when you open up your email. Yeah? So usually when you open up your email, you will just go through your emails, yeah, and click your email, read your email, and answer your emails. That's it. Or maybe you want to attach something and send to your friend, whatever. Yeah? But Gmail actually provides much more than that. Okay. First of all, if you are someone who really is into to-do list, you like to do things based on a list, right? Every time you have something to do, you write it down in your list, put a time limit to it, and try to finish those things, as much as as soon as possible to meet the deadline, right? So Gmail provides that automatically. You can actually add straight away your email. Say, for example, your email is an email given to you by your lecturer, your boss, or whatever, which forms a part of a task that you need to do. So you just straight away add to task. So if I click add to task, the task page will open up, to my right hand side. Yeah, and I will have this task, which is basically the email. Okay, so you can look at the details, which gives you the email and the date and time. You can set the date and time, okay, to start to finish the work at deadline. Yeah, so you can do that easily. You can add to tasks. This is something new. Before this, if you want to add to tasks, you have to add an add-on. Okay, so like any other Google apps, they have something called add-ons. Yeah, so if you look at this part, no, not this part, there, yeah, so you can get add-ons. If you click get add-ons, then you look at all the different add-ons. Add-ons, they are actually programs written by other people. It is probably written by people in Google or anybody who wants to contribute, that enables you to extend the functionality of Gmail. Yeah. For example, let's look at one. Oh, I have one actually. I have one here. Mail merge, Gmass. Okay. So Gmass allows me to send mass emails, for example. Yeah. If I want to. So I can, I've never really used this, but I can use this add-on to send mass email. I can actually time it. I can send reminders and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you have time, just look at the add-ons and look at the things that you can actually use. Maybe you want to send, I don't know, have some form of tracking of your email, so you can download, Mail Track, or use Dropbox for Gmail. I think they already have Dropbox for Gmail nowadays. Turn emails into tasks. Say Gmail already provides this, so you don't need this add-on anymore. Yeah. So a lot of things. Yeah. So play around with this. Basically, when you have an add-on, it allows you to extend the functionalities of your Gmail. Okay. Now, in the right-hand side, you will also see things which are associated with Gmail. The thing is, in a Google account, when you open a Google account, you are a user in Google account, and you have access to all the applications, and all these applications are actually connected to each other. So this is the importance of, this is the philosophy of Google, where they create apps so that you can collaborate and communicate. Yeah? So I can straight away go into my calendar, my Google Keep, for example, yeah, which I will talk about in a bit. Right. So the next one will be Google Drive. So everybody knows about Google Drive again. Yeah. So this is my drive. Now Google Drive will also have the similar functionalities as Google Mail. Yeah. So you can also add add-ons. Yeah. So if I click to add my add-ons, I can add a lot of things. For example, one example is that when you share something, sometimes you want to limit the sharing time. When you share something in Google Drive, there's no limit. That means someone whom you share the file with, that person can get access to the file forever. So you don't want that. You want you want to limit the time of sharing. So you can download, where is it? You can download the auto expire links. So you can download this add-on, and you can actually auto expire the sharing links. Yeah. Well, and you can have a look at all the others lah. So many of it. Play around with it, you will learn a lot. Yeah? Okay, the same thing, you know, it also has all the different apps here where you can get access straight away. Yeah. For example, this app, this is the tasks. Remember, I had my task just now, added the email task, CCL there. So it's all there. Okay. So when you're done with the task, you just click done and it's gone. Yeah. Okay, so that is G Drive. A lot of things, please have a look at it. Google Sheets. Yeah. So in order to open the sheet, I just click new from Google Drive, click new and go to Google Sheets and we'll open the Google Sheet. Now the same thing with Google Sheet, of course you can do a lot of things just like Excel, but Google Sheet also has add-ons. Yeah. So I have one add-on here, Form Mule. So what I can do with this is I can actually, it's a mail merge add-on. So again, I can send emails. I can trigger sending email. For example, you can set up a system where people who wants to do appointments with you, yeah, can send. You can set up a Google form, right, where people can make appointments with you, and you can set Form Mule to send email where it is triggered by the form. So when someone submits a form, it triggers the email. It will send the email to you and send the email to the person who is making that appointment, saying that, okay, your appointment will be from this time to this time. Okay? So these are amongst the things that will definitely increase your productivity. So you don't have to really make calls or worry about appointments by manual ways. So it's easier to use this. Yeah? And of course, for Google Sheets, you also have a lot of different add-ons. Yeah? Add-ons to actually extend the functionalities of Google Sheet. Yeah? Banyak, ratusan. So it's just a question of sitting down and thinking about how to use your Google Sheets. Okay. What's next? Google Forms. This is something also that I think most of us have actually used. Yeah, and because forms, it is a form of a management. It is a management tool. You can actually Google Forms can also be part of the collaborative environment in Google. So you can actually have Google Forms and Google Sheets working together. As I've explained earlier, you can actually have people coming in sending data to you through Google Forms, and then you can use the trigger functionality, and you can send emails based on the forms that you obtain. Yeah. Okay. Google Sites. Google Sites is another application that allows you to create web pages. Yeah. So this is like instant web page. You can put your files inside there, put links, and then people can get access to the sites. And well, you can pass information. So many different users that you can actually you can use Google Sites for many different purposes. Okay, Google Keep. I'm not sure if many of you have actually seen Google Keep or used it. I use Google Keep extensively. Yeah? Let me show you how extensive I use Google Keep. So what is Google Keep actually? Google Keep is is Google's solution for users to take notes. Yeah, you can use Google Sheet, Google Keep to take notes and actually organize your notes. Yeah, the way Google Keep organizes the notes is by using labels. Yeah, so you have labels there. So every time you say, let's have a look. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, like this. So I have notes on Python course. So whatever notes I want to put in, and I have links as well. Okay, and I can then add the labels. So the label for Python course notes. So I created a label called programming, Python training, self-training. Yeah. So based on these labels, I can find these notes. So I don't have to. So the notes are not. They can look a bit disorganized, like now. Very messy, all the notes together. But I can actually go to the labels and say I want to look at photonics, for example. Yeah. So Google Keep will display the notes related to a certain label. Yeah. And the fact that this all the Google tools are available on your handphone, that means you can take your notes anywhere you are. Yeah. Gone are the days when you have to pull out your notebook. I used to carry a notebook with a small pen. Oh, it's like this kind of pen. No, it's not there anymore. Small pen, yeah. So and a small notebook, just to write down things. For example, when you are, walking around, enjoying yourself, in places, and you have your ideas coming up, so you can just write it down on the notebook. You don't have to do that anymore because your handphone is there, and you can write down your ideas straight away in Google Keep. Okay, and keep it with labels so that it is more organized. But of course, you have to be creative with the labels, lah, because these labels basically indicate, under which field should your notes fall. Yeah? So Google Keep is another tool which is very useful. Very useful in organizing yourself. Okay. Right. So these apps are available on the mobile phone, so you can use it straight away, and it is synchronized. Google is better than Microsoft in terms of synchronization. It synchronizes much faster compared to Microsoft. Yeah. Okay, Microsoft 365. I won't talk too much about Microsoft 365. Yeah, these are the three Microsoft Office apps. Yeah, I will also talk about a bit about OneNote, but I will be focusing on OneNote in the next session, because I'll be talking about the use of OneNote as the electronic lab notebook. Yeah? And this is Google. So this is Microsoft OneDrive. Yeah? Okay. There's an excellent link on Microsoft Office suite of programs, okay, which shows you, talks about the different Microsoft Office suite of programs. I won't be talking too much about Microsoft Office because, you are so used to it, yeah. But I will be talking about, as I've mentioned earlier, about OneNote, because I use it extensively in the electronic lab notebook, which I implemented in the last semester's lab, and also for my master's course. Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, I tell you what. Let me do this. some of you might feel a bit shy to ask questions. Okay, so I'm going to open up Slido. Have you heard of Slido before? Dia yang pernah dengar tak Slido?
No problem.
So Slido is actually an interactive web page where users can ask questions straight away. So let me do this first. You can ask questions anonymously while I'm giving a talk, so that I can straight away see the question and answer the question straight away. Okay. Hold on. Okay, you just go to slide.do. Right. Okay.
Sekarang bos, ada soalan dekat chat box.
Okay, the Google Keep for the label, is it necessary to put hashtag? Tidak perlu. Let me show you how you actually use the Google Keep. All right. So for example now, so I'll take a note. For example, today's lecture, right? So it can be anything. It can be a link. Let's just put this link, for example. Copy the link and just paste the link. Okay. So I want to just organize this part, this node, so I can choose any label I want. Right. So just add label. Say I don't know, personal. Okay. So the label is already there. So if I go to personal and click personal, I will see a few things which are related to my personal matters lah. So this is the new lecture. Okay, so there's the label there. So you have to actually create a label. Another note, I'll just take another note. Test. Okay. So I'll just delete this. I want to add another label. I can just enter a label. Test. Create test, and you have a label test, and you will see test down here. There. So we don't need to have a hashtag or anything like Instagram ke ataupun apa? What's the other one? Twitter, yeah. So this is just you just create the label and Google will automatically put the label in the right place. Yeah. Hold on, let me work on this one first. Yeah, you have any questions? Please ask straight away. Yeah. While I work on this Slido. Okay. Saya ada letakkan kat dalam chat ni. That is the links sli.do and this is the number. So if you go to slide.do and then you just put in the number, then you can just you know, basically ask a question, whatever. So you can go to audience Q&A and ask question. Yeah, there's someone testing a student. Yeah. So while I'm talking, you can actually ask questions. So I think lecturers should do this. Yeah. Memang dalam chat boleh, but chat ni sometimes it's not you don't open chat because the screen gets a bit close. But if you open Slido ni, and then people can ask questions straight away. In terms of adding add-ons on Google Apps, sometimes we can see certain add-ons with the same functions. How do we choose the best ones? Well, you just have to try it. Yeah, because these add-ons are written by people who wants to help out. So when they write the add-ons, they just put it in the Google add-on space, and it's up to people to try them out. But just like trying any applications, new applications, you look at the rating lah. Kalau rating dia 3, 2, there's no point of downloading and trying it out. But some add-ons get very high ratings. A lot of people download it, a lot of people use it, so you might as well start with that one. Yeah. So that's where ratings come into it becomes important, comes into play. Okay, that's how ratings are actually useful for us to make decisions. Okay, any more questions? Sebelum kita teruskan, kita ada lagi 1 jam to look at something more interesting than just Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. Any more questions? Okay, if you want to ask questions, you just go straight away. I will just go to the questions. Can we get a recording of the video? Are we recording this video? We are, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, how can we get the recording? Maybe next week we can give a link for them to watch, and then at the end of next week's session we'll put another link for
Yeah,
the next
no
session.
problem.
Yeah? Okay, right. Okay, Doc. Let's have a look at the next part. I will also give you the links to all the things that I'm going to show you. My slides, the files for examples, some papers for you to read. I will give you in one, I will share you the link to the folder so that you can actually use them later on. Yeah. Okay, the next one will be this. So we're going to look at Excel in specific because the reason we're going to look at Excel because I think as a chemist we are more inclined to use Excel. We use PowerPoint, we use Word as a means to document, but Excel is not just for documentation, but we are also using it to do a lot of calculations. Yeah? And to present our results as well. You can present your results very well. I will show you one example. I have a student who it's actually an assignment, but she managed to go beyond my expectations. So have a look at how she designs her Excel sheets to the point that wow, when I looked at it, I was like myself, wow. It's beyond my expectation. Okay. How about the security of our data? Okay, let me tell you about security. Security is a relative thing. In today's world, the problem of security is it is a big problem. Not just virtual security, but also physical security. For people who really want to get our data, they will find ways to get your data. Yeah. How are we going to secure our data? As far as your data is concerned, how do you define an important data? An important data is where the data, if someone were to be able to obtain the data, your security, your physical security will be at risk. That's one. Yeah. And secondly, usually when people obtain the data, they can actually assume your identity, and that will also be problematic for you. Yeah. Or when they obtain your data, they can use your data in a way that the person who's going to be risk as far as your, say for example, financial situation is concerned will be you. They can use your data to for example, to break into your bank account or use the money in your bank account to do something else. Yeah? So these are the reasons why we want to keep our data. Sometimes we want to make sure that the security of our data is very good, because our data is private lah. There are things that we want to not show to others. Okay, so that's privacy data. You don't want people to come in and take your data and do things to it. Yeah. So this kind of data, there are already technologies to protect it. For example, your bank data. Yeah. Whenever you type in your account number, for example, the data that goes from your web page, when you see, for example, access your bank portal, when you type it in, you press enter or you click execute, the data that is passed to the bank is usually encrypted. Yeah, so this encryption is only the bank can actually decrypt the data. So as far as that is concerned, that is quite secure, unless you have people working in the bank who steals the data, and that can happen as well. Yeah. As far as that is concerned, yeah, that will be the security lah. When you write messages in WhatsApp, for example, when you pass your data, that data is actually encrypted. Yeah, so people will not be able to peek into your data and see what you're writing. Yeah, but again, people in WhatsApp can actually, get your data. They will know what you want to, what kind of data you're passing around. People who works in the bank, for example, yeah, I told you just now, they are free to actually look at your data if they have the knowledge to do so. Hackers, they will try their best to get the data, your data. Yeah, even data kept in highly secure environments, like for example military data. People actually hack into those places and get those data. So how are we going to make sure that our data is secure? I mean, it's a very difficult question to answer. If you ask me, first of all, you have to put trust. You have to put trust to people who say that, well, your data is secure. For example, the banks, right? The banks tell you that, don't worry, your data is secure because we have all the technology to protect your data. Then you have to trust the bank. Google, for example, they say that, you don't worry, your data is secure. Trust us. Some people will trust them. Now, do I trust them? I have to trust them because, or else what am I going to use? Because Microsoft and Google are the two biggest IT companies that basically have our lives in their hand. I mean, every time you use your handphone, Google gets all the data that they want. Yeah. So how are you going to make sure that your data is secure? The first thing that I do, because I was just discussing this with my friend before this talk. I mean, how do we know our data is actually secure? First of all, by not having secrets. I don't have secrets at all. Secrets that I want to hide from people. It is basically not about IT. It's about your life. What kind of secret? You talk about being, personal things. Yeah, of course you have to be secretive, but that has nothing to do with your data. It has to do with your life, isn't it? And secondly, is to hide the data as if it's normal. Like, for example, how are you going to hide money at home? Yeah. So some people hide money by putting it in places where if someone were to come and rob you, they will not even think about looking at those places. So you can do the same thing with your data. Yeah? Don't put names, file names, for example, that will be will attract attention of people who want to dig data from you. Yeah. So I mean, this is all just common sense, lah. But there are things that you just have to trust. But when you have to trust the others, especially your money, for example, your banking account, that you can't do anything much about that. But can you trust Google to keep all your data? I don't really trust them 100%, but I put my data, which I feel is important for me, in ways that people will not, realize that that is actually something worth looking into. File names, for example. If you have pictures that you don't want to show others, rather than putting it in Google accounts, in your storage, cloud storage or anything like that, you should zip it and put it in the cloud with names that people don't even, tidak syak lah. They don't see that that is important. That is something which contains secrets or anything like that. So you just have to be, I suppose, rational about this, and commonsensical, rather than opening up, things that you want to hide as much as possible. Yeah? So you have to trust. Unfortunately, you have to trust, just like you trust putting money in the bank. Just to diverge a bit, do you know that when you put your money into the bank really don't have the money? Say if you put say you have a lot of money, you have $10 million or $1 billion, 1 billion ringgit, you put in the bank will quickly lend the money away. Because banks do not have to have 1 billion, for example, of money in the bank. They will just lend it. And if you want to go and get back your 1 billion, it might take a while before the bank is able to give it to you because they don't have that money. So do you trust the bank? What if the bank, suddenly go bankrupt, it goes bust? You can't get your 1 billion back. That is the kind of trust that we put in our society. Same thing, Google, bank accounts, and we just have to have some form of trust. But at the same time, you will also find ways to, to minimize the risk that you have, rather than keeping, as normal people like us, we don't have that much money. Kalau dalam bank, maybe we have a lot of money, katalah kita ada 100,000 ringgit dalam bank, kan? So maybe you don't want to keep it in cash in bank. You want to have other things, investments, maybe gold, keep it in unsuspecting places. You just have to find ways to be more, commonsensical. You trust, yes, you can't do anything about that, but at the same time, you can find ways to try to reduce or minimize risks. I can't really answer that question much, can't give you tips on how to do things, how to make sure that you have your data is secure, but you just have to be commonsensical about it. I have a lot of data which relates to my numbers, things, my documentation. I keep it in ways that people don't know that these are important things. File name pun lain, and I would separate all the different data in different storages. But the only important thing is that you have to know where you keep it, kan? So yeah, that's one way to keep things secure. Yeah? Because we're not computer experts, we can't create encryption methods. We just have to use what people have been using. Yeah? Okay, anyhow, it's not really a satisfying answer, but that is basically what I do, lah. Because you just cannot trust security that people provide for you totally. You have to trust to a certain extent, and then you just have to be commonsensical about it. What is this? Privacy same as Google. Did iCloud privacy also same as Google? Well, I don't understand. What is the? Can you repeat the question? Yeah, I don't really get what you're trying to ask. Okay, so repeat the question. It's okay. I'll answer it later on. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Indispensable Excel. Yeah. Okay. Now Excel is indispensable. It's available in your computer. Any computer will have Excel. Yeah. And as a chemist, you can use Excel. You can combine Excel with different software and make it really, really useful. Okay, as a chemist. Right, there's another form. Let's put it in the link in the chat. please, sorry, chat. Please, oh, it's not. Gonna copy, paste. Okay, so can you answer that as well? All right. So Excel skill is imperative in science. Yeah? So you have to learn Excel. You just have to learn Excel. This is a link. You can go to the link later on when I open up the resources of this lecture. Go to these links, and there are a lot of YouTube links that contains courses on Excel. Yeah, from the very beginning, basic to very advanced. So spend time to learn, yeah, about Excel, because skill in Excel is imperative in science, in chemistry, definitely. Right, I'm going to show you a few things that Excel can be used. Yeah, there is a very good book that you should get if you have the time to actually find the book. Yeah. For you. Okay, so this is the book, Excel for Chemists, a comprehensive guide. Okay, it contains not everything, but most of the things that you can use Excel in order to solve chemistry problems. Yeah, I wouldn't even say most. This book is good, but it doesn't contain everything. Yeah, that allows us to solve chemical problems. Because there are a lot more things that you can actually use Excel for in chemistry. So, but this is a good book. I learned a lot from this book. If you can get the book, it's very good. Yeah, it's quite expensive, but it's worth buying. Yeah. Now, I'm going to show you something where Excel can be used to do things in which it is not designed for. So this is something that a friend of mine who's also good in Excel, we were sitting down and we were thinking what would be something that students will enjoy doing. It uses Excel, and it shows how Excel can be extended, its functionalities. Yeah, when people who design Excel don't even realize that you can actually use Excel to do this. So one of the things that we realized is that when we want to draw chemical structures, we will draw chemical structures using coordinates, X, Y, Z coordinates in 3 dimensions. So of course, Excel is basically you're talking about cells, yeah, and each cell occupies a number. So if we talk about 3-dimensional structures, these are just numbers, X, Y, Z numbers that can fill in 3 cells. Yeah. So is it possible that we can actually draw a structure in Excel, and not just drawing it, you can actually do manipulations to it? Yeah. And when you talk about manipulation, you can manipulate structures in many different ways. Yeah, many different ways. But we only want to manipulate structures in terms of some of the geometrical transformations that allows us to rotate the molecule, to shift it, things like that. So yes, Excel can do that. Yeah, and Excel has very good chart functionalities, and this chart functionalities will allow us to actually draw molecular structures. Okay, and this is the kind of exercise that we gave to our students, where we asked them to do 3D rotation in Excel. Yeah? Now, students have very little experience in coding. Yeah, we don't teach our students to code, but almost everyone has Excel in the computers, and Excel is highly versatile. So by just thinking about things that you can do with Excel, new things that you can do with Excel, you can actually come up with excellent things. Some people believe nowadays that, or some people claim that Excel is a full-fledged programming language. There is a new function called the Lambda function, which allows Excel to perform like a programming language, but I don't use this Lambda function. Even without Lambda function, you can still use Excel to do things which, to do programming per se, think computationally. So Excel enables you to think computationally. Yeah? So 3D graphics, like the one that I'm going to show you, very complex, but with Excel, you can, make it easy. Just by doing some matrix multiplication and addition, you can actually carry out very complex 3D graphics. Yeah? And with the impressive charting function of Excel, we can actually carry out very, very sophisticated graphics. Yeah? So we can actually do molecular visualization in Excel. Now, if you look at the book that I showed you just now, right? Excel for Chemists, this will allow you to use Excel to solve a lot of chemical problems. Yeah, a lot of chemical problems. Anything that has to do with maths, you can use Excel to do that. Now, this is something else. This is just using Excel to do something else. Usually, people will not think about using Excel to do molecular visualization. They will do programming straight away. They have all these graphics functionalities in many different programming languages. They will do programming straight away. But we thought that, well, we give the problem to students, and maybe you can get students to do things which they think they might not be able to do. But once they found that it's very easy to do it in Excel, they will probably be able to do it. Yeah. So there are a few things that you have to teach the students first. On how to do 3D rotation, because when you look at a molecule rotated in a screen, it is not really a three-dimensional molecule. It gives, what you see is just a sort of what do you call that? It's just an illusion. Yeah, an illusion, because what you see is just a screen, which is two-dimensional. So when a three-dimensional molecule is being rotated on the screen, it is really just an illusion. So how is the illusion actually done? Yeah. So we have to show the students how to actually do 3D rotation, how to map the 3D rotation onto the screen, okay, so that you can see as if the molecule is rotating in 3 dimensions. Okay. So show the students how to do it. Get some molecules, you can use any molecular editor or use the SMILE strings of a molecule, convert the coordinates or the SMILE strings into XYZ coordinate using a program called OpenBabel, which I will look at later on. And then using these 3D coordinates in Excel format, do the transformations, yeah, and then create a nice individualized dashboard. Okay. So these are 2 of the best examples that students have come up with. So I look at this one first. This is the best example. It's actually an Excel sheet where you can actually carry out molecular visualization. Right. So there's a molecule there, and you can rotate the molecule. Rotate it in X direction, in Y direction, and in Z direction. Back to its position. And you can even change. Well, this student actually made the effort to allow different types of display. So this is wireframe, the simplest display, wireframe. Yeah. Or sticks. Set again. And you can shift as well, up, left, right, up, down, and zoom in to the molecule. All this is done in Excel. Yeah, she even added, you know, if you want to look at the two-dimensional structure, it's not working. Yeah? Never mind. But all these are actually done just using some, you know, numbers in a cell. Okay. So what they did was each of the coordinate is multiplied with the different matrices. So the X rotation, Y rotation, and the Z rotation matrices, and they set the illusion, yeah, where what we're looking at is actually just the X and Z, X and Y coordinate. The Z coordinate basically is there just to ensure that the X and Y transforms properly. Yeah? And what we get is something like this, yeah? Which is amazing. So that's one example. And the other one is this one. Okay. So we can rotate X, Y, Z. Okay. And this is basically just using Excel. Okay. So you can use Excel to do things which are which Excel is not designed to do. Okay. But in doing this, actually, students have a steep learning curve. They have to actually learn how to do the transformations, you know, and implement it in Excel. And then they have to use the charting functions to draw molecules like this. Okay. Right. What is this? Well, okay. This one is just to show you that you can actually put in structures in 3D. Okay. You can use a program called Chimera, and then you print the molecule as if you're going to print in 3D printing, and take the coordinates and put it into PowerPoint, and you have this very nice 3D rotation. Yeah, very nice 3D rotation. Okay, you can do this with PowerPoint, just to show. Right, the next one, which is a bit more interesting, is how to make Excel more chemistry centric. Yeah, because we know Excel can only handle numbers, yeah, or text, numbers and text, different formats of numbers and different forms of text. But how can you make Excel more chemistry centric? Yeah. Now you can do this by installing some chem informatics packages. So these are add-ons that you can install in Excel. The Excel will be more chemistry centric. Yeah? And some good chem informatics add-ons can even display structures in the cells. Yeah? These are the free ones where you can download. But nowadays, everything is being taken over by this program. Yeah. So there is a company called ChemAxon. This company basically produces a lot of applications, programs for chem informatics applications. But it can be used by us, mortal chemists, to do a lot of different things. Yeah. Now, chem informatics can be quite complex. There are a lot of things that you can do with it. A lot of chemical related information can be obtained, but as normal chemists like we are, we can still use these softwares to do things that are related to our work, if we are not chem informaticists anyway. Yeah. Okay, so there's a program package which is GChem for Office. Okay, where you can actually download the GChem for Office and you can integrate it with Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook, so that the Microsoft Office applications are more chemistry centric. Yeah, so it integrates chemical structure handling, data analyzing, visualization, reporting capabilities, blah blah blah. So many different things, many. Until today, I still have only learned about 5 to 10% of what we can do with GChem for Office. Yeah? I'll just show you some of the things that you can do with it. So these are the, when we talk about chem informatics tools, like the ones given by or provided by ChemExon, these are the things that you can actually do. Yeah? You can read it later on. So what is ChemExon? It is a company that produces toolkits used in the field of chem informatics. But as chemists, just like you and me, we can still use ChemExon to do a lot of things. And I will show you some of the things that we can actually use ChemExon to do. And I mentioned about alternatives, right? People use ChemDraw. Organic chemists will know that. They will stick to ChemDraw because it has to do with publications and stuff. But ChemExon is actually slowly being recognized, And the thing about ChemExon is that they give it for free. Full functionality for free. Yeah, you just have to download it and then get the proper license. So you have to register with ChemExon. Okay, log into ChemExon and you can download. There are many different things, But for starters, you can download Marvin Sketch or Marvin. Yeah, I just put it there. So when you go to web page, you to the products, you can go to Marvin and download it, and then JChem for Office, right, from the ChemExon site, and then apply for academic teaching software. Yeah, you can apply the software for free. So you can still use your email because they just want to know that you are from an academic institution. Yeah. So these are the links. So you create your account, register, and then go to the products page, download the two applications I told you, and then apply for the academic license. Then you can start to learn to use Marvin and JChem for Excel. So there are guides, there are all the documentation, and there are lots of videos. You can just go through the videos and you can learn straight away. Yeah, it's very easy. The software is very, if you're a chemist and you have used the drawing software before, then it's basically the same thing. Yeah. So the common sense is basically the same. So you learn it quickly. The learning curve is not going to be too steep. The only steep thing that you have to face is to learn the different functionalities. Yeah? Okay, now I'm going to show you a few things that you can actually do with your with this ChemExon. Right, so I'll just go down and hold on. Where is it? Marvin ChemExon. Yeah. So I'll just go to Marvin Sketch. Just like any other normal sketching or drawing, chemical drawing program, it's the same thing. Yeah, you can imagine this. So it contains the whiteboard where you can draw your structures. Yeah, as easy as that. Okay, so I'll show you some of the things later on. Right, there's a question, Prof, will you show us the example of VLOOKUP and each lookup methods in this or the next session? I came a lot of VLOOKUPs for skill enhancements. Thank you very much. Okay, I will show you later on. I can't show you now because I don't plan to look at those things, but I have some examples that you can have a look at. Maybe in the next session. Yeah, I'll just quickly show you. And I will also put in some examples in the folder so that you can try it out. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at this then. Okay. Now, just like any other drawing program, so you can draw molecules. Okay, so you can just click your benzene ring there, and you get your benzene ring there. And you can put extra bonds there. Bonds there. Okay. Now, I want to show you how to do Marcus enumeration. Yeah, I'm just going to show you one example. again, you can download this and get it into your computer and you can try it out. Yeah. This is not about how to use, it's about me opening up, telling you, giving you some, showing you some software, showing you how it can be used, not really how to use it, and some useful features of the software. Yeah. Right. So, what is a Marcus structure? A Marcus structure is something that you are quite used to. Sometimes you just have R there, right? R1 here, R2 here, R3 here, okay? Where these R's are actually substituents, okay? And what you will do is that you just put R1 equals to what? What are the substituents? R2, what are the substituents, okay? Now, is it possible to generate all the substituents? Yes, it is possible. Yeah. So using Marvin Sketch, you can actually do what's known as Marcus enumeration, where you can actually generate the structures from the Marcus structure. So the Marcus structure is defined by this R, for example. Yeah. And then you can generate all the structures that you define. So that's called Marcus enumeration. And this is useful in combinatorial chemistry, where you want to create molecules, okay? And maybe after you've created these hundreds, if not thousands of molecules, you want to do a screening, an in silico screening of these molecules. This is also important, say, for example, in drug design. Yeah, people can generate thousands of molecules based on certain Marcus structure. And then each of this molecule, with each of this molecule, you can then do your screening. Yeah? Okay, I'll just show you how it's done, just easily, simply. Yeah? Okay, I want, say for example, I want to create a molecule. Say for example, here at this point, I want to substitute this point with some rings, for example, some rings. And I want to substitute this with some halogen, okay? And this point there with some alkyl, okay? So I can do that by, first of all, okay. So I will start with the halogen. L and Dr there, and I. Just for the fun of it, I'll just put fluorine as well. Okay, and then sorry. Select everything and I just put R there. So R is equal to this whole thing, and I will put the R there. Yeah. So I will just put on each of the halogen the link to the R. So they will substitute the R with Cl, Br, I, and F. Okay. So I want to put an alkyl structure here. So I'll just go to the advanced template and the special notes. So I'll just choose alkyl. Okay. And I will just click alkyl there. And I told you just now I want some aryl groups here. Okay, I'll just go to advanced again and choose aryl. Okay, and put it there. Oops, do aryl. So alkyl aryl, right? So for this one, I want it to be either nitrogen or carbon. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go to atom list, carbon and nitrogen, and I'll just click it there. So this one will be substituted with either carbon or nitrogen. Okay, that should be enough. Yeah? This, say for example, this is the one that I want. So this structure is known as the Marcus structure. And I can do, for example, Marcus enumeration on this structure. So I can ask how many molecules will be generated. Okay. Do some calculations based on this Marcus structure. How many molecules will be generated by the enumeration machine? So it will generate 6,608 molecules. Okay, based on the Marcus structure with an alkyl group substituted here, aryl group substituted there. The link atom is either carbon or nitrogen, and the R will either be Cl, Br, I, or F. So it will try to combine all the combinations, okay, and combining all the combinations on this Marcus structure, it will generate 6,608 molecules, which is a lot. Okay, I don't want too many. I just want to have random enumeration of 20. And all the homology groups, the aryl and the alkyl, will be substituted with real aryls and alkyls. And just press OK, and it will generate the 20 molecules. So these are the 20 randomly generated molecules based on the structure here. Okay. So what I can do now is just for fun. This is just for fun. I'm just doing things without thinking. I just save all. I save all as an SDF file. Okay, I just put it as Marcus test. Okay, and keep it in the desktop. Save as. Right, it is saved. Okay, so I'll just minimize this. Okay. Now I have to view. Show the desktop icons. So this is the one, Marcus test. This is the file. So what I'll do now, I'm going to open up Excel. I have already installed, of course, I've installed the JChem. Okay, in my Excel. There's the JChem ribbon. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll get the JChem, I'll get the file. I'll import the file, which is saved in the desktop, that 20 structures that I have created based on the Marcus structure. Yeah. Right, so I'll get the file, desktop, Marcus test, open. Okay, so right, I'll start at the current file. So I'll start it here, current cell, create a header. Next. So this is a structure. So there are 20 structures, okay? Import. And Excel will read all the 20 structures that I have created just now. There you go. Yeah. So these are the 20 structures, all placed in the cell. Yeah. So when you install JChem, what JChem does is that it provides quite a number of new formulas related to chemicals. Yeah. So if I press FX and I go down, so here, down here, I will see that JChem. So anything that starts with JChem is actually a formula related to JChem functionalities. Yeah? So for example, naming. Okay, this I'll click naming. So IUPAC name. So I want to know the names of these molecules. Yeah? So I'll just click IUPAC name. Oops, sorry. So I'll just put name here. This name, and it should be this cell. Go back. IUPAC name. So name of the molecule. What molecule is this molecule? Molecule is in cell A2, and I get. So that's a name. So that's the name of the molecule. Just format the cells. Just make it nice. Alignment. Red text. center, vertical center, and you have the name there. Yeah. Then you can just copy and paste. And you get names of the molecule. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So what other things can you do? Let's go down again. Image, charge. Let's go to functions, Excel functions. Okay, something that is easy. Smiles. Okay. So what will be the smiles? You see. Okay, smiles. So I think this one will give you the smile string of the molecule. Huh? So that will be the smile string of the molecule. Here we go. Again, nice center, vertex. Right. And just copy and paste. There you go. So you got all the smile strings, yeah, of the molecule. So the point is, you can actually use this to get a lot of information. You can even get, I think JChem is also able to predict boiling points and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so this is a bit boring. You just get get some molecules and now what you can do next is to actually do a reaction. Yeah. I've actually downloaded. So what I did was I went to PubChem, downloaded some amines, downloaded some carboxylic acid. Okay. Then just a new one. Okay. Downloaded some carboxylic acid and some amines, and what I have in mind is to react those two things. Yeah. So JChem is able to do that for me. JChem has quite a respectable number of reaction schemes which can be used to react amines and carboxylic acid to produce amines. Yeah? So what I will do is same thing as it was just now. I will go to JChem and import some structures that I have downloaded from PubChem. So that would be, where is it? Drive. Yeah. Okay, the amines, yeah. So I will download amines, right? So I will do the same thing, override at current cell. I won't create header at all. Next, when you download structures from PubChem, you're going to get all sorts of things. These are the things, but you don't want all of those. You just want the structure. So click the structure. Okay. Import. So it imports about 20 structures, I think. Yeah, these are the structures, right? Now, in order to do the reaction, it's like multiplication. So I have to react this with another one, and then react this with another one, react this with another one. So what I need is like a multiplication table. I need the amides to be in this position, that position there. So it's like this, vertical and horizontal. Yeah. So I will do the same thing. Import, but this time rather than importing amines, I will import the carboxylic acid. Okay. Overwrite current cell. Don't create header, but I will transpose it. Because if I don't transpose, it's going to go down. The structure will go down. So transposing means vertical to horizontal. Yeah. Next, I just want the structure. Import, and I will get the horizontal cells filled with carboxylic acids. Yeah. So I want to react this and this so that the amide will be displayed here. But the reaction needs to follow a scheme, right? So what I will do is I will put the scheme here. So every reaction will follow this scheme. Okay. So in order to get the scheme, see if I can still remember this. Import. It's somewhere. Hold on. It's here. Program files, ChemExon. Yeah, okay. ChemExon library. So these are the reactions. So what I want is amide. Amide synthesis from carboxylic acid. There. So I'll just click there, open. Next. What is this? Am I doing it correctly? I am not doing it correctly. Hold on. I think it's not this one. I forgot already.
Aku tak tahu.
Copy and paste it here. All right, yeah. So if you double click that, it will open up Marvin and it will show you the reaction. So this is a reaction between carboxylic acid and an amine, right? So it gives you the choices here. These are all Marcus structures. So if you look at this one, so this C can be any C, actually, can be anything. Same thing with here. This one can be either a C or a hydrogen, but this one must be a hydrogen. So there must be a hydrogen in order for the reaction to be able to occur. And what it does is just gives a scheme of how the numbers connect, and it will result in the amide being synthesized. Okay. So if you look at this one, this structure and that structure, you know that there will be no reaction because the nitrogen there has no hydrogen connected to it. It's a what do you call that? It's I'm not an organic chemist, I tend to forget. Where there's no hydrogen, just carbon saja. What is it called? Tertiary amine, isn't it? Tertiary amine. Semua carbon saja, tak ada hydrogen. So there will be no reaction. So if I were to go to Chem, JChem, go to FX, and there's one function called react. There will be no reaction. So if I were to go to Chem, react product structure. Okay. Reactant 1 is this. Reactant 2. Reaction is A1. This is the reaction that we want. Reactant 1 is the amine. Reactant 2 is the carboxylic acid. Okay, so if you click OK, you will say there is no product. There's no product because the amine is a tertiary amine. Yeah. So this reaction will not occur. What about this one? Okay, we do the same thing. AC react product structure. So this reaction reactant 1 is this, reactant 2 is that. Now, this one should be a structure. I do not know why, but there should be a structure. Doesn't seem to work very well. Yesterday I was doing it, it was okay. Yeah. Right. So it will react. This one and this one will react because the nitrogen there's a hydrogen and hydrogen, there's a nitrogen, one hydrogen there, and this one cannot. So it can either react here or there. Right. So the rules of JChem, it already has built-in rules to say that if you have primary and secondary amines, then you will go for the primary amines. Yeah? So the reaction will occur here. Yeah? So there is a product here. Don't worry. Yeah, I just have to do something to it. Yeah? But this is a way to actually create or enumerate molecules based on reactions, and there are hundreds of reactions that you can. There are about 400 or 600 reactions that is built into JChem, where you can actually then do something like this to get to enumerate molecules based on reactions. Okay. Right. So that's your Chem Exon. So many things to learn. I'm just showing you what you can learn. All right. Okay. So the next one. Okay, drawing, we've done that. Okay. Okay, programming in Excel. We have 5 more minutes. It's okay. I faced this problem. I was doing research at that time on data analysis of pollution. Yeah. So we do a lot of data, thousands of data, and we use things like neural networks to predict class of a river. Yeah. So my student actually got this data from many different places. So there are thousands, I think about 20 or 30,000 files. Okay. So each Excel file contains the data that is needed. I do not know why they do this. Every time they get a reading, they don't append the data, but they put it in one file. Once the reading has been done, the file is kept. And then another reading, a new file. So if there are 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 readings, there will be 100,000 Excel files. So he came to me and said, wow, we have about a few teens, I think 20 or 30,000 files in order to analyze. So how are we going to get the data out of the 30,000? So of course, we don't do it manually. So because we both have some programming experience, so we wrote a program. Yeah. So if you have given thousands of files containing the data on water quality and you need to analyze the data, what are you going to do? Yeah. So you can write a quick program to solve the problem. So what we have is a file like this. Yeah. Now this one is I'm just creating this file just to show you, just to illustrate to you the importance of knowing how to program. You don't have to. This is the most important point. You do not have to be an expert in programming. You're not a computer scientist. You just want to use your programming knowledge to ease things, to make things easier for you to solve problems. Okay. Where is it? Where's the data? Okay, sorry. These are the data. Okay. So I just create one file and I copied it a few times. Yeah. So this is the kind of data that you get. Okay, so you have your headings there. So date, station that you get the data from, latitude, longitude, rain, pH, temperature, and ammoniacal nitrogen, dissolved oxygen, chemical oxygen demand, biological oxygen demand, conductivity, suspended solids, sodium, magnesium, etc., etc. It can be very long. Well, not hundreds lah, but puluhan data lah di sini. A lot of data. So each file looks like this. So you want this data, you want this, in order for you to analyze the data. But it comes in 10,000 files. So what are you going to do about this? So what we can do is, you know that that Excel, the functionalities of Excel can be extended by doing writing programs. Yeah. So you can actually write programs based on this, using this developer ribbon. Okay, you can write macros. So I've written a program that allows me to read read the files. Okay, take the data that is needed and put it into this file. So there are about 7, 8 or something files. Same file. I just do it. I just copy it over and over again just to illustrate the point. So now is reading the files, the 8 files, okay, based on the program. And you can imagine if you're talking about 20,000 files, right? It took us, I think, about a few hours. So we went out and have something to drink first, and we came back, and all the data has been nicely placed into this file. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. It's the same file. I just copied it, and you are able to now, get all the data into one file. And so based on this one, it will be easy to do analysis. Yeah? Now it is in this format. You can do a lot of analytical things to the data. Yeah? So the most important thing is to
sorry,
be able
Prof.
to,
Masih kita hampir tamat.
Tamat,
So mungkin Prof boleh.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Skip ini.
Sorry.
Tak apa.
Okay.
So the most important thing is for you to be able to write a program like this. Yeah. Now this program I didn't write. Yeah. I just typed in Google. I said I want to copy data from many files and put it into one file, and I got a lot of answers. There are a lot of answers. Now the knowledge of programming, yeah, will be based on not writing the program. I mentioned earlier, you don't have to write big programs. You just need to solve your problem. So I took in a few of the programs, looked at it, and tried to understand it. Once I've understood some of the programs, then with my knowledge, what I do is I just edit the program so that it fits into what I want to do. Okay. So once it's edited, then it solves my problem. Okay? So you don't really have to be an expert in programming. That is not what we want to become. We are not programmers. We are chemists. But we need this knowledge in order to solve our problems. Yeah. Imagine if you don't know how to program and you don't have anybody to help you. I mean, you'll be doing it manually, isn't it? Copy paste 100,000 times. That's unacceptable. Yeah. So having a working knowledge of programming is important. Yeah. So learn Visual Basic for application, which is a programming language for Excel. There's a link to it. Again, I'm going to give you all these things later in the next session. The links to the folder. You can have a look at it. So learn VBA. Spend time. If the VBA video takes about 5 to 10 hours, say 10 hours, you say to yourself, oh, 10 hours are so long to listen to the video. You see, if you don't listen to it, you don't work on it, you don't have the encouragement to do it, 10 hours will still pass. It will still pass, and when it passes, you realize that actually, well, 10 hours has passed and I don't know anything about programming, right? So you might as well learn and let 10 hours pass learning how to program. So after 10 hours, you are a good programmer, or at least you have a working knowledge of programming, right? So 10 hours will pass anyway. If you don't use that 10 hours, then human beings are always dalam kerugian. We are always in kerugian lah. What is kerugian dalam bahasa Inggeris? So yeah, so learn VBA. Okay. Also, there's a slide here, which is about data analysis package. Yeah, in Excel. Excel itself doesn't have. It's not a statistical package, even though Excel does have this. It has data analysis, which is not really, it's not a lot about it. Not a lot of things that you can actually do with it. Of course, the formulas, you also have formulas related to statistical formulas, which allows you to do data analysis. But Excel itself is not a statistical package. So you can go to this site, Real Statistics. Okay, so when you go to Real Statistics, this guy, Dr. Charles, yeah, he wrote the real statistics package. So you can download the real statistics package and you can do things like, for example, ANOVA. You can learn about distributions. Use this package to do distribution analysis, or maybe multivariate analysis. You can do cluster analysis and stuff. Regression, multiple regression, or a few types of regression that you can actually do. So you can download his package, and it is basically an add-on. Yeah. So in Excel, if you go to File, Options, Add-ins. Yeah. So these are the add-ins that you can actually these are the add-ins that has already been installed. Yeah. But you can download his add-in, you can execute it, and his add-in will be inside here, and you can add the add-ins if you want to. Yeah. Right, so there you go, 2 hours. Right, so do you have any questions? Let me see, questions.
Right. Thank you, Prof, for your informative talk. I hope you will get a lot of new information and knowledge for today's sessions. Please note that we have one more sessions on this Thursday at the same time. Do not forget to fill the attendance day 1, which is today. So if you have any questions regarding to this topic, I think you can directly contact Professor Sharifuddin directly, and he will be glad to help. So if there are any questions, if no,
any questions that you want to ask now? Maybe you want to ask now.
Yeah.
Somehow I've shut down the Slido thing.
Oh,
Anyhow,
really? Okay.
Sorry. Kalau tidak ada soalan, then I'll be seeing you in the next session.
Thursday, right?
Thursday,
And also
yeah,
I have shared, I have shared the book Excel for Chemists, the one that Prof showed to us. So you can download it in the chat box.
Prof, we've got one question from Fakrul Nawawi. The chat box.
Okay, can you show how to insert the license for JMP? When you download JMP from the PTM, and you install it properly, you don't even have to bother about the license, because it will be recognized straight away. Yeah. For example, this one, can you see my JMP there? I think I have a license here. Where is it? Where's my JMP license file? Where's the license file? Because the license should be legit, unless something is not right, unless yeah, it has expired. Okay, so I will talk to PTM about this. Yeah. Maybe they already have a new license. Yeah. But I'll get back to you lah. I akan check up dengan Dr. Kahin, because he is the one who's in charge of this. But the license should be a yearly license lah. So the University of Malaya will pay for the license, the JMP license. So you should get a new license. But you're right lah, sekarang ni dah expire. Yeah, I'll talk to you to Dr. Kain about this. And yeah.
Doctor?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I want to know from where I can get the recorded video for this course.
The recorded video will be given to you in the next session.
Next session.
Early next session, which is on Thursday. So the staff will put the link in the chat, right?
Right.
Right.
Thank you,
staff?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. So they will send the link. Dr. Diana will send the link. Yeah.
Prof, I've got one more question from Happy Faces. If you scroll up in the chat box.
Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Siapa nama? Happy Faces?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you drag the column or row to get structured products? Oh, okay, right. The point is if the reaction works, it will work. You know, sometimes JChem has some bugs, I suppose. Yeah. Initially, when you do it, there's nothing, and nothing works. No product, no product, no product. And then suddenly, when you sort of refresh the screen, then it suddenly comes out. Yeah, because if it follows the rules and the rule says that there will be a reaction, there will be a reaction, because it's just based on templates. This is not something JChem doesn't understand the reaction. The reaction is based on what rules you put to it. Yeah. So, for example, if you have two, as I mentioned earlier, two nitrogen, two amines, right? Maybe there is already a rule inside there saying that look for a primary amine. If there is a primary amine in the molecule, then attack only the primary amine. The primary amine will be the site of the amidization. But again, it's a rule placed by people. So if the rule is there, the template is correct, and A and B should react, then you will see the structure there. Okay. If you look at my slide, yeah, there you go. So this is the correct one. Yeah, you have amines and amides, amines and carboxylic acid reacting together based on the law. You will get the structure. Okay, so don't worry about it. If it is correct, it is based on the structure. Sorry, it is based on the rules that is being provided to you. Then there will be a reaction. Yeah. So it has to do with JChem having some bugs, I do not know. Yeah, but it works. It works. Okay. Any more questions?
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Yes, saya. Waalaikumsalam.
Prof, dekat Slido tu sebenarnya ada beberapa soalan. Prof nak jawab sekarang ke
Boleh
ataupun nak kumpul untuk jawab next session?
Tutup dah. Boleh ni tak boleh you
Okey, so saya copy link dia. Macam mana? Kopikan soalan Prof.
Soalan tu sendiri ada tak?
Okey. Ada soalan tu ada dalam Slido tu. Saya copy saya masuk dalam chat.
Masuk dalam chat. Sebab saya dah tekan Slido tu dah terpadam.
Okey.
In terms of add-ons on Google Apps, sometimes we can see certain add-ons with the same function. Oh, dah jawab dah ni. How about privacy issues in the way that we have some information that might be personal in Keep? Is it safe? Google Keep, Google Keep. Yeah. Well, I mean, my answers will be the same. I would rather not keep private information in Google Keep. Really private information. I mean, I just show you what I have in my Google Keep because it's not private, see? But if I want to keep private information, I would put it in a proper folder, for example. I would zip the folder. I would put it somewhere, which is not, prying eyes will see it and they will be interested in it. Question maybe not related. After signing in with Swiss Mail, this modifies privacy and security of the Windows system, which asks us to change password periodically. Yeah, one of the reasons why passwords are being asked for you to change periodically because of the problems with privacy and security. Yeah. I mean, it's a good habit to change passwords. For the Google Keep, how our notes will be organized in terms of viewing. Right, one of the reasons why I don't use Google Keep for organizing notes that are proper. Yeah. For example, I will show you. Because I use Google Notes to take quick notes, okay? And I also use this. So this is OneNote. Yeah, I have things that I do. Okay, so the reason why I use OneNote for more organized note taking is that you can arrange it like this. Yeah, so you can arrange it, for example, okay, yeah, math statistics. This is my studying notes. So advanced Excel, I will write notes that are important. Maths. Yeah. I do this because it's easier to organize. Yeah. Whereas Google Keep is more of impromptu notes that I want to take and straight away. And the only way Google Keep notes are being organized is through labels. So you have to have good labels lah. So when you want to look at those notes, you have to look at the labels. Yeah. Sometimes you get lost in the notes because it's very disorganized. The front page is very disorganized. Yeah. So you want to do something which is more organized, use OneNote. Yeah. Okay, that's it, right? Can we do this Marcus enumeration using ChemDraw? I do not think so. I do not think so because ChemDraw is not a chem informatics software. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I do not think so. Yeah? I've not heard of people using ChemDraw to do molecular enumeration. Yeah? Before ChemExon, not before lah. I mean, people can either use ChemExon, in which they use Windows, okay, to do enumeration if they want to, or people will use another software, a free software called RDKit. Yeah, so this RDKit can be used in two ways. One, you have to learn programming, okay, not to actually do programming, but you can copy and paste people's codes and change what is inside so that it fits your problem. Or you can use RDKit with a software called KNIME. I will show this in the next session. So KNIME is actually a data analysis software, but it works in a totally different way from Excel. And you can actually attach RDKit into it, and you can do enumeration. Yeah? But I don't think you can do enumeration with ChemDraw. I do not know. Never used ChemDraw before. But I do not think so because enumeration is actually a job related more to chem informatics rather than drawing structures for publications. Yeah? I really do not know. You have to check that. Okay. Any more questions? Right. I hope you learn a lot from this session. Not how to do things, but you know what you can actually learn after this. Yeah. And I really hope that you spend time to learn more about these tools. You know, improve your computing skills, and I can assure you, you can solve a lot of problems. I mean, today's problems are mostly computing related, you know, or you can solve your problems using computers. So skills in using computers to solve problems, especially chemistry problems, will be useful for chemists. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if there is no more questions, do not forget about the second sessions on Thursday. So maybe we can close the sessions today. And
All right.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Assalamualaikum, and have a very good evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Rob.
Prof,
Yep.
tadi ada apa tu satu soalan tu mungkin Prof termiss kot. Dia tanya dia kata Prof, will you show us the example of VLOOKUP methods in next session?
Ada.
Tak tahu ni termasuk dalam Prof punya slot ke
Khamis
tak.
saya akan tunjukkan.
Hari Khamis
Hari
alright.
Khamis,
Okay. Prof.
Okay, sama.